Okay, hello and welcome everyone to day 2 of the ETH Riyadh 2023 Meta Web3 Builder Competition. My name is Kyle and I will be your host today. So ETH Riyadh 2023 is a prominent Web3 summit dedicated to Ethereum, designed to gather developers and builders from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and other Middle East regions. With a strong focus on the Ethereum ecosystem, ETH Riyadh aims to provide insights from industry experts and engage in discussions around the blockchain future. I'd like to thank our community organizing committee, Tharawat Technology, Studio 1727, Chain IDE, Coffee with Crypto, and Mask Network. A reminder, the event schedule for ETH Riyadh includes the online bootcamp and competition from September 18th to October 10th, the in-person reception and conference on October 10th and 11th, and the online closing mixer on October 12th. For all the latest information and updates about ETH Riyadh, please follow 0xETH Riyadh on X, formerly Twitter. Join the official ETH Riyadh Telegram and visit ethriyadh.com. Thank you again for joining us for day 2 of the ETH Riyadh Meta Web3 Builder Competition. Another quick reminder before we get started that registration for the competition is still open and there is a prize pool of $30,000. We're going to be hosting daily workshops until the 28th, and the competition submission deadline will be end of day October 10th. Again, for details, you can visit ethriyadh.com and you can join the official Telegram. One last thing before we get started, I want to thank our event sponsors, Web3 Port and Moon Capital. So with that said, let's jump into day 2. Today we have 6 sessions, and our featured speakers are Yannick, the co-founder and CMO of Delysium, Liz, a core contributor to SecondLive, Yijia Chen, co-founder of Curio Research, Daniele, co-founder of Sellix, Bruce, co-initiator of LXDAO, and Rose, the CSO of NFTScan. If you have any questions during today's sessions, please leave them in the live chat and our team will gather them and post the answers at a later time in the official Telegram. So let's turn it over to Yannick and we can hear his session about Delysium AI.
Hello everyone, my name is Yannick. I am a core contributor for Delysium AI. I'm taking care of all of the communications, branding, marketing, but besides that, I'm also specializing in AI philosophy, AI thinking, AI project development. So I'm also involved in the development of some of our recent applications. One of those applications is an AI agent. This AI agent is called Lucy, and the AI agent Lucy actually came from a long history of our team developing artificial intelligence, starting with reinforcement learning and applying these types of models through gaming environments. So we created some AI decision-making tools, AI narrative, AI storylines, and we deployed that in world titles like Counter-Strike, Perfect World. It was used in cinema as well. And we actually built our own AAA game using this technology, and it was a very great experiment. And this experiment has led us through realizing that out of the box, out of this virtual environment, these applications and this technology is much more powerful and can actually make a big change to humanity in general. And there's a strong correlation, or there's a strong connection. It's like a match made in heaven between Web3, blockchain technology, and artificial intelligence. That's why we stated recently that we are developing a AI agent network. on top of which AI agents can live. They will be able to interact with each other using this AI agent network. I will tell more about the details of this later on. But today I want to talk to you about why it's important to pay attention to AI agents, and how these agents are potentially going to change our future and change the way we interact with everything on the internet. So as you might know, right now, we humans, we require a very specific UI and UX. And now we know that in Web3, the UI and UX is probably not the first and foremost thing that the projects care about. So often it's quite a bad experience. Now, in the recent years, we've seen a lot of progress in the field in terms of design, and applications have been becoming more user-friendly. However, AI agents will completely bypass these interfaces. AI agents will be so in tune, so streamlined to the information that they're gathering, and they're gathering at such a high interval and high speed and processing it with immense power. They do not, and they are actually obstructed by human designed UI and UX. This UI and UX is completely irrelevant to these AI agents, because these AI agents, they are able to process data at a much faster rate. They don't require these types of visual representations, because they just look at raw data. So to draw a example for you, what happens when we have two agents? We have one agent, which is an agent that is, for example, sourcing wines. This agent is working for me, and I have told this agent exactly what type of wine I'm looking for. It's a very rare wine, and not many people in the world sell this. So this agent goes onto the network, and it goes onto sourcing this wine. Right now, it ends up talking to an agent which is owned by a local farmer who is producing the particular wine that I am looking for. These agents, they make a deal, and I'm presented, or I'm perhaps not even presented with the option to buy, because I have probably already provided my budget. So these agents, they interact with each other, sale is made, and there you have it. There's no need for human interaction anymore, because the agent will be able to execute based on my command, and it will follow my desire, right? So at Delysium, we're focusing on a three-pillared framework. The first pillar in the framework is the AI agent network. The AI agent network, its rationale for short, is that the future will see a society of bots with their own conventions, legal systems, and financial systems. This necessitates a robust network infrastructure that can handle the vast communication needs for these AI agents. Traditional internet protocols might not be suitable for this new era. Instead, we need a framework designed for AI agent communication, ensuring traceability, security, and efficiency. So, not only will the network facilitate the communication, but also the traceability and the security, because as you might know, these agents will operate semi-autonomously or autonomously. Right. So what are we looking for in an AI agent network, and what is the deeper rationale behind it? First of all, the AI agents, they need a decentralized platform for communication that's traceable, and where no single entity has the power to control the network, right? So, okay, we're coming back at the core of blockchain technology. So this decentralization promotes trust and transparency. Then we need to aim for interoperability and collaboration. We need to aim for security and authenticity. We need to aim for real-time analysis and decision making. We need to aim for future-proofing, the amount and the volume of transactions that the network is able to handle, because we humans, we transact in a relatively slow way. Now bots have come around, and bots have been introduced in the blockchain space for a long time now, and they've increased the amount of transactions that networks have to be able to handle. But if we remove humans from the equation and we replace those humans with AI agents, then the capacity of this network has to be very big, right? So then we need to think about data privacy and ownership. Then we need to think about scalability, obviously. And I just mentioned, indeed, the future-proofing aspect is very, very important part. So that's a rationale behind the first pillar, the AI agent network. The second, let's say, pillar of this framework that we're already building on is AI agents, right? So these AI agents, they are relatively new to us humans, and we've seen that some of those agents might not be as useful as we thought they would be. But that's because the technology is very young. And actually, if we look at agents right now, like this type of agent, mini agent networks, um, like um, like how some people are setting up, let's say, for example, task teams for code development, right? So they're having multiple agents. These agents, they're working together. They're bound to a set of directions and parameters, and they are able to make decisions autonomously, work together as a team. They have their personalities, they have their own objectives, and then eventually, if we give them a certain mission or a certain request, they will be able to, just like a human team, work together, conversate together. We actually trace this back. We can see this also in real time, and then they will have an outcome. And actually, the ability of these types of AI agent teams are pretty interesting. I suggest you, if you have not, to take a look at some of these latest developments. So these AI agents that we are developing, one of them is Lucy. Lucy is a AI assistant agent that is able to execute your requests on chain. So what does that mean? Let's take an example. Create me 10 Ethereum wallets. Okay, 10 Ethereum wallets are created. Now transfer 1 Ethereum to each of these wallets from my main wallet. Might it be a MetaMask, for example? Okay, funds are transferred into those wallets. And then you can give another command. So we can go command by command by command, and Lucy can execute those commands on your behalf on chain, right? So this is relatively simple. Now the next level is where you give a chain of command, and Lucy creates a workflow for you that you can then execute, and that can be running at all times, for example. So see it as Zapier and ChatGPT having a baby, right? So now this becomes a lot more complex, because now we're giving users, regular Web2 users or Web3 users, the ability to become Web3 power users, where before they would have to know Python, they would have to research about MEV bots and all these types of stuff, right? But now we're saying, okay, well, we have this natural language interface, and we're giving you the ability to create workflows and then deploy those workflows. So for example, whenever the Atsuki floor price rises above 6 Ethereum, list my Atsuki for this price. If it's not sold and floor price increases to rise, increase my price of my Atsuki with an interval of 24 hours by the amount, the percentage that the floor price rises. For example, this is a pretty complex workflow that normally wouldn't be easy to, handle, right? It would have to be done manually. So now other things you can say is, for example, I see an arbitrage opportunity between two DEXs. I want to put my Atsuki up for collateral, borrow those funds, make the deal, buy the token A from this DEX, sell it on another DEX, and then I want to return the funds and I want to take the profit, right? That's also a quite complex and quite time sensitive task, if you will. So this is just one of the agents that will be required to live on this network, right? And now, why do we need a network if there's only going to be one agent, right? Or why do we need a network if there's not going to be enough agents? So that's why we also developing a developer toolkit. This developer toolkit is going to allow the accelerated creation of these AI agents in Web3, specifically on the AI agent network. So now what will happen is that as the society of AI agents grows, the requirements or the requirements of the network and the type of AI agents will change. What we expect is in the beginning it will be very useful, kind of like assisting humans in performing tasks. But once humans start realizing that beyond those simple tasks, complex tasks can also be programmed into these agents, it starts to develop faster. Then we also might need agents that are going to be monitoring, policing agents, lawyer agents, agents that are monitoring liquidity pools and are making sure that everything is safe, everything is handled according to the best interest of the end user, right? So that's why we have the third pillar, which is a AI development toolkit, through which we will hope to accelerate the creation process of AI agents at a very rapid rate. Now, essentially, this development of AI agents and perhaps the AI agent becoming a much more important aspect of human society, in my opinion, is quite inevitable. And in the past couple of years, we have seen the blockchain industry maybe slowing down a little bit, maybe stagnating, taking a big hit. We all know it's a bear market, obviously. But I believe that AI and the immutability of blockchain are really a match made in heaven. I think that AI is the future of blockchain. And our statement goes like this. AI, sorry, our statement goes like this. Blockchain is made for AI, and AI is made for humans. So as we progress into this new future where the AI agents are more visible and more influential and become more helpful in alleviating our daily strain, and we prove that these agents are able to be more efficient at the tasks than us humans, we will be more free and we will feel more liberated as we can outsource a lot of these tasks. And now blockchain, the inherent characteristic of blockchain technology really aligns with the recent philosophy of these AI, the AI movement. As we're thinking ahead in the future, we're thinking about safety, we're thinking about efficiency, we're thinking about ownership. And blockchain inherently has all of the qualities that we would need to make AI a mass adopted kind of solution that will help us develop humanity into the next stage of how to say well-being, maybe maybe even AI could be one of the biggest factors in helping us to leverage maybe the majority of the world population out of poverty. Because once we have the most efficient systems that we can think of, when everything runs autonomously, when the purchasing, the ordering, even the charting of ships, of courses, of freighter ships to save more energy, this is actually already an AI solution out there. As this is being handled by agents, we humans, we have more time to focus on the things that really matter. So yes, I hope that this is a cool introduction to what we're doing. The reason why I want to talk about this is because we're open to work with people. As we're launching our developer tools soon, we're also going to work on a launchpad, and we're also going to open up the doors for other developers and projects to join us. So if you're interested, please get in contact with me. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Yannick, for that interesting session and your insights on the future of AI and Web3. Next, we're going to have a session from Liz. The session is titled SecondLive, Make Your Metaverse Marketing Easy Like Never Before.
Liz from SecondLive. Welcome to our channel. Today, I'm gonna using 30 minutes to introduce you about SecondLive and also to show you more functions on SecondLive. Well, today I'm gonna focus on three parts. First one is telling you guys about SecondLive, and the second part I'm gonna introduce about AI and XR. The last part I want to show you more about our roadmap and what we're gonna do in the future. Let's focus on the first part, our SecondLive. I'm not sure how many of you guys know SecondLive already. If you support SecondLive, appreciate it for your support. Our SecondLive is established in 2021, and we always stand at the top one Metaverse on BNB chain, and also very glad to be the top 10 GameFi DApps across all chains. And these days, especially this years, we are dedicated to pioneer a vibrant digital civilization through the AR and XR. We want to build a one-stop universal toy boxes to helping you guys, no matter individual person or projects, to build a metaverse marketing solution to all of you guys. Because we noticed there's some flawless in the metaverse. Maybe you feel that way also. First one is we think there's a lack of the sufficient engagement stuff for users. So that's why all those cities in metaverse, it's a ghost city, and there's a lack of vitality. And the second part is we noticed there's have a limited interactions restricting our users to walking around in your metaverse, which means we don't have a full content to support all those users to stay in no matter which spaces. In the third part, we think there's like metaverse spaces priorities is showing case, but there's not enough functional for you individual users to use all those useful stuff in metaverse. So I think this is a general questions we facing in metaverse. So that's why our goal is to build a one-stop Web3 metaverse marketing with AI and XR, and people can using and feeling and have an experience in SecondLive. Before, actually, we did something already. For example, like in 2021, we built a BNB chain first year anniversary on SecondLive, and it brings us like exhibit like 75 plus users, and also registered users more than 19Ks. And also besides that, on 2022, we work with BNB Chain to celebrate the Christmas New Year, and it also brings us live streaming viewer more than 75K users to online to interact with us. Besides that, we are thinking how to combine metaverse with entertainment and also the pop stars. So that's why in 2022 we create and we launched a rap tour for Covas, and he take the first metaverse concert. This is a very highlight moment for my SecondLive, and also we have 5,000 concurrent users in for the first time in Metaverse industry. And that's also the reason why many people they noticed us already and engaged Quavo with 46 million fans. And it is a very good start to all those Web 2 or Web 3 users to jump into Metaverse and to jump into to join SecondLive, to feeling how to enjoy and engaged in Web 3. This is our trail. And also in 2022, we did a FIFA World Cup on SecondLive, because we are thinking if there is any multiple way we can do for the participant and all our users on SecondLive. If you can see my screen, you can also read all those data. It brings us a lot of users and also online viewers on the turning this FIFA time. And also actually we did a lot of AMA on SecondLive. I'm not sure how many of you guys enjoyed and joined our AMA show already. We did like more than 30 massive AMA events from 2022 to 2023. And during this process, you can fill in and you can talk with all those guests on our channel, and also you have a chance to win the gifts from the AMA. Which we want to build is a totally different experience. And also you have a chance to talk with all those projects, and you have an idea, and you can ask any questions you want. So this is our goal. That's why after several trials we noticed there's a lot of things we can do, and also the functions we can upgrade it. That's also the reason why we are here. We want to build a AIGC toy chain and plus XR. If I'm not sure how many of you guys, I think everyone using ChatGPT very frequently, and also wondering to know how easily we can do in the metaverse. So we have two toys. The first one is AI agent protocol, which means you can using your avatar as your employee. It's like a digital native AI employee. And also for the human users, you can build a digital twins for yourself on Metaverse on SecondLive. And also the third part is you can build a digital native AI companion for yourself, the person who know everything and who can answer all those questions you have. And the second part, we want to build an AI space editor, and we want to all those process and experience is easier than never before. For example, maybe you can just using the texts to give you images, and also texts to the 3D models. And then we did a lot of trials. The first one is GoBetty. Now you can see on our screen is what we have to do. Before, imagine on Metaverse, you need some professional background to editing all those clothes of your avatar. And you can see the fabrics and everything. But now what we can do is we using the AI fabrics library, and you can just using the words to describe all your needs. Or maybe you can upload your logo of your projects and onto our GoBetty, and then your employee can wear the clothes. You can see the right part, this pictures. It's a beautiful Christmas sweater, which I put the Christmas as a keywords, and also which color you need. And then you can get the clothes which you want to do, you want to have. And the second part is our AI space editor. We noticed there's a lot of projects and persons. You guys want to have your space, but it is too difficult. And also maybe you need to invite some person to create a space for yourself. In this part, we really want to do something as much easier as we can. Every one of you guys can hold and build your spaces on SecondLive, and easier to cooperate in the your space. And also you can see the news, you can see your upcoming AMA, you can see the new product releasing stuff and materials and news in your spaces. So which means we have a set template, and using this template you can build your personal or project spaces as easier as you can. That's why we want to highlight all your metaverse marketing needs is maybe focus on four parts. The first one is build your own brand spaces in one click, which I just showed you guys. And the second part is expand your reach and traffic significantly. And the third part is using diverse marketing places, and maybe AMA, maybe concert, maybe live streaming, perhaps have gaming or exhibitions. You can put all your crazy ideas on SecondLive into your space. And the first part is create a vibrant brand communities, and all your community is your followers, and all those people can ask any questions from your AI agent or AI employees 24 hours. So, which means you can reducing all those costs and to build amazing spaces on Metaverse. Besides that, maybe you were wondering to know, well, all those employees or our avatars, what they can do in Second Life. That's the reason why we have the XR tech served and will develop the AR features. You can helping your avatar to dancing and play in Second Life. As you can see on the screen, this is one of our members. They living in Paris and they want to their avatars and dancing in front of Eiffel Tower, and you can just put your hold your phone and just play that in one click. And after that, you can share with all your friends and also have competition with other people's. So this is what we want to do. And also you can say we really focus on to show you guys more features and higher your experience. So that's why we worked with Apple version Pro and behind this technology and to increasing your whole feelings during you play with Second Life. And the third part is our roadmap. After I introduce all those functions and what we want to do, and I want to show you what we going to do in the next step. The first one, as you can see, it's our Second Life AI town. In our AI town, you have this little girl with the red hair is your AI agent or AI friends, or maybe it's your twins, and she know all the things about metaverse and all the all the Web3 knowledges. And then you can imagine you can have interactions with her fluently. For example, like AI agent, NLP and LLP, and you can using the ChatGPT, you can talk with this little girl because behind this model, she have a ChatGPT to support her languages, which means if you have facing some issue or you have some questions about any products or any projects, you can ask her directly and she can solve all your problems. The second part is an AI enable NFT trading process, and imagine it could possibly to visualize, display, and treat 3D NFT in Metaverse store, and you can just chat with the AI shop assistant or employees to using your nature languages, because we have a transition complete with items sent directly to your wallet. So this is the second part. And also we're gonna do the AI enable trailer-made production process. You can using all those functions to build in-house wearable NFT editor, which I show you already, like go back to work together, and you can upload all those pictures, the color you like, the shape you want to wear, and then immediately you can have your clothes, AI clothes for your avatar. And in the end, I want to show you guys about our partners. We are very glad to working with BNB chain and all those big chain, and also we build all those spaces for most of the partners. And also we are welcoming you guys to build your space on SecondLive, and looking forward more functions we can releasing more and to let you guys using SecondLive. Thank you for watching here. Thank you for listening.
Session, Hyperscaling with KeyStone, Web 2 meets Web 3.
My name is Yijia, and I am one of the co-founders for Curio Research. We are a on-chain game company building both infrastructure that supports on-chain games and the very content for on-chain games. And today I'm going to talk a bit about hyperscaling with KeyStone, which is our custom architecture, our roll-up based architecture for making successful on-chain games. And before that, I want to give a bit of context on what on-chain games are, the history of on-chain games, right? And then jump to kind of why do we want to build on-chain games, what player mechanics and innovations actually brings. And then after that, I will talk about infra and how we're thinking about it, or generally how you can think about on-chain game infra when you build it yourself. So first, briefly on on-chain games. The first really popular on-chain game that people played, was Dark Forest. It was launched in 2020. It's the first fully on-chain MMO RTS game that is based on the EVM. And back then, a lot of people were hyped about it because it was the first game that first used the blockchain to execute such a game. It was the first game to use zero knowledge in a very extensive way to create things like fog of war. And also it had elements of composability that were hard to find in some other crypto applications. But and at the same time, there were the actual number of players was small because the game had a fairly high barrier to entry, but that's how on-chain games started. And then after that, we have seen a couple of teams build both the backend infrastructure for on-chain games as well as the games themselves. And today we have a couple of small ecosystems and developers that's developing these games. And so let's talk about why on-chain games. And starting with experience and then design, finally to tech. So what makes the real world feel real? First, asking this question. Is it just the rendering quality, or is there something else? We believe the real world is real because of its social interactions, as well as the existence of valuable assets that people care about. And in games, we haven't seen something like this. In the first, we're talking about multiplayer games. In the first stage of multiplayer games, you have things like StarCraft and CSGO and these purely competitive games where the only relation between players are competition, right, and victory. There's not much cooperation going on. And then moving on to the second stage of multiplayer games, we start to see MMOs. Best example is probably World of Warcraft, but also things like Rise of Kingdoms and EVE Online. In these games, there are not only competition, but also cooperation. Players meaningfully work with each other to attain goals and win or lose in the unit of a group or alliance or a guild, as opposed to on their own. This creates a lot of opportunities for new social relations to occur. There are obviously alliances. There are some nuances to that, not that much, but the players do have to think about working with their allies and not just gathering resources for themselves and fighting enemies. But there's still a lot of problems in this social architecture, in that individual players are often trapped in these larger organizations that are very much binding, and they're the sole structures of the game. So the entire social structure is very inflexible, right? If one player in alliance wants to socialize, for example, trade, or perhaps sign an individual pact with another player in another guild, they can't really do that. And in the same sense, two guild leaders cannot agree to a peace treaty that actually gets enforced without resorting to basically tit-for-tat type of strategies. In the real world, I mentioned before, there are two things that really keep the world very engaging for the players, aka us living in the real world, right? You first have valuable assets that make people really care, and then you have law enforcement mechanisms that allow people to not worry about the microtransgressions in daily life, such as your colleague doing something bad to you if you just simply have an argument, right? These things you don't have to worry about. You can strategize on a higher level, like maybe where do you want to work, where do you want to live, what kind of life do you want to have, things like that. But in games, these elements have been missing, right? And we've already solved half of the puzzle, which is that digital assets have brought the equivalence of real world assets on-chain, online. But what's the other half, right? And let's keep this question in mind and think of a scenario, let's say in a grand strategy game. So you have a game where people are attacking each other and gathering resources, like a typical 4X game. And you see a player named Justin approaching you. He says, you have a player named Vitalik next to you. And then he sees a player named Justin who's approaching both of you. He's a stronger player. And Vitalik tells you that you're going to both lose if you continue fighting each other. And then you said, okay, what do you want to do? Vitalik responds by proposing this non-aggression pack for 3 turns, and the violator pays 500 gold to the other. You agree to the deal. Games, when such a deal is made, it's equivalent to not being made because there's no way to enforce such an agreement. But it would be nice to do that, right? Let's say you do attack Vitalik in 2 turns. He should expect you to directly pay him 500 gold, but you're not going to do that. And the only way he can enforce that is to attack you, right? And then you fall into this endless trap of revenges, right? There's nothing that's enforced. It would be great if things are enforced and both of you can strategize on kind of how you build your empire. The answer to this, we think, is treaty, which is our term for using smart contracts to represent social contracts. The treaty is essentially a social building block of digital worlds. If you think about smart contracts, so far they've been used in scenarios like DeFi and NFTs, and fairly simple and straightforward value-based transactions. Now, they haven't been extensively used in context-rich worlds like games. And that started to happen with Dark Forest, but still wasn't very widely used, as the game contract was mostly the smart contracts only representing the game logic and not as much the agreements between players that can be spun up in real time. And this is how we envision a greater use of smart contracts, which is in coordinating players' interactions with each other. And there are a lot of examples to this, from simple things like non-aggression pacts to more complex setups like NATO, guild currencies, and on-chain democracies, or other types of organizations. And this is pretty uniquely suited for blockchains because blockchains are very well integrated with value-based systems, basically cryptocurrencies as well as NFTs, and yeah, with on-chain games, this is the most seamless way treaties can happen. We made a game on top of this idea. It's a 4X game where people basically had a capital, they acquired land, built troops, and fought each other. And actually, the end result was affected by the existence of treaties when some player created the loan agreement and was able to acquire a lot of troops near the end of the game from another player and surprise everyone else by conquering the center tile and claiming victory. This was an aha moment for us and the community that the social composability aspect is really powerful and can bring a lot of emergent complexity and behaviors, which game developers have been looking for all along. People made a bunch of memes and jokes about the game, and currently we're building a much more complex game on top of this real-time war strategy game. It's really like a real money skill-based game with a lot of social diplomacy elements. And this type of game, we believe, are very suitable to be fully on-chain, meaning the logic and state remain on the blockchain. And on top of that, you can have players launch essentially social contracts with each other that enforce the basic level of promises, like non-aggression pacts. But in order to achieve these, right, you have the trustness of digital assets, and then you have composability of treaties. You also need just great experience, right? A game is not DeFi. It needs good experience to attract players in the first place, and maybe these two things are what keeps players there. So really, you need high performance. You can't have players wait for more than 10 seconds or even 2 seconds when you have, let's say, an RTS game, right? Or if you have FPS, you really need to just approach the traditional FPS games in order to succeed. You need great graphics. Not everyone's okay with or attracted to pixel games. There needs to be at least the ability for developers to build a variety of art genres in terms of the game, and then needs select UX. You need to have players be able to try out your game when they come on the platform initially. That process needs to be very seamless. There's a lot of design, very detailed design choices that goes into building a really good game. So a lot of these need a lot of new infrastructure to be built because blockchains, if you talk about vanilla blockchain execution environments, they're very much not built for games. They were not built for performance, for such a high context environment with a lot of throughput that's required, etc. And this is a problem that all the on-chain games today face. Like Dark Forest kind of got around this problem by building their game to be super slow, and each action takes anywhere between a couple minutes to several hours, and sometimes even days. And that is an okay game loop if they think the core players enjoy it, but it's not something that can extend to the majority of multiplayer games today. And yeah, this is kind of the problems that we have. A complex game necessarily means slow TPS because the EVM or any other VM, really blockchain VM, were not built for games. On top of that, there's no native game tick, meaning you can't have things like moving from point A to point B. You can't have a weather system that changes state without player intent, right? And ultimately, you have very large overheads writing game logic in Solidity or Cairo or other like Rust or other languages, even with Foundry Test Kit for Solidity. And so we really decided, while we build on-chain games, we've always noticed that there's this performance gap between what's possible and what's needed. But really, after treating the game in January, we decided that, okay, this is a blocking issue for on-chain games to succeed. And so we built KeyStone, which is a rollup-based rather than smart contract-based on-chain game engine framework, making it basically made to 100x the performance of on-chain games. We made a Warcraft demo, which we put the Warcraft 3 art assets on-chain into a basically game demo. You can look it up on YouTube. It's very fast, and that's what we believe on-chain games should look like in a couple months. Key features of KeyStone. So it has high throughput ECS-based game engine. The ECS part doesn't change. It's just much more high throughput because we're able to put the logic in-chain, basically on the same layer as EVM or as a module of EVM if you're looking through the Cosmos lens. And then we have fast game tick, support for historical state querying, right? This is for treaties, looking at kind of like past 4 turns, things like that. Automatic smart contract execution for players to write and launch treaties on the fly during the game. It's fully EVM compatible, meaning you can still write basically Solidity smart contracts. The only thing that players have to change in terms of habit is to use the stateful precompiles that interoperate with EVM. And finally, everything's written in Go, which means the games will be much easier to develop. This is kind of the detailed architecture. Basically, this is what I described above, and then the whole system is secured with a proof of governance setup and settles to a DA layer such as Celestia or EigenDA, right? And the payouts happen on an L1 of player's choice, such as Ethereum. So we believe this is the way to achieve highly complex multiplayer games of the next chapter, such as described in visions of Ready Player One. So yeah, if you're interested in building on KeyStone, or if you're just generally curious about on-chain games, composable games, or the infrastructure that's related, definitely reach out to us. Or if you want to kind of play test our game in probably 3 months or so, we're happy to chat. This is our contact. But yeah, good luck with the hackathon, and see you on chain.
All right, thank you for that, Yijia. Very interesting to learn a little bit about the on-chain gaming side of things. So we have 3 more sessions lined up for today. Our next session is with Daniele. It is Seamless Digital Payment Experience with Sellix.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this workshop on how to provide a seamless digital payment experience and how actually hard it is to navigate the ecosystem of blockchain payments. So what this is going to be is a really comprehensive exploration of the technology, protocols, and user-centric design that make blockchain payments not just possible, but also efficient. And the way that we're going to achieve that is by seeing how we can balance tech and touch. So, understanding the backend architecture and front-end design of blockchain payments, and then seeing how we can do that, from code to click. So the technical and essentials of blockchain payments. And then finally, one of the most important part is going to be to understand and explore not just the user interface, but the user experience as well. A brief overview about the content is that, in the rapidly evolving world of digital finance, blockchain payments stand out really as a revolutionary approach that promises not just speed, but also transparency, security, and privacy. And however, successfully implementing a blockchain payment system is not just about the technology, it's also about the user experience. And that's really what we're going to focus today. So first up, who am I? I'm Daniele. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Sellix. We focus exactly on that, on providing a seamless digital payment experience, and we also do payment infrastructure and commerce for the blockchain world. We have processed more than $90 million in GMV, and throughout these years, we have learned so much on what exactly is needed and what you need to do to how to implement all those kind of system and all those kind of best practices together. And we're here today to show to you how you can do the same for your own payment provider, your own payment solution, or even how you can use Sellix to achieve those same results for your company. So let's get started directly with the problem. What is the problem? The problem is very, very simple, and it is that the fintech ecosystem is too much fragmented. There is really no unified and capital efficient solution for cross-border crypto and fiat transactions, because you have, on one end, you have Stripe, which has no crypto payments. It's really, really not decentralized. It's highly, highly centralized, and it's very, very unfriendly to merchant accounts. On the commerce side of things, you have Shopify, which, however, has no native integrations for the digital world. And at the same time, yeah, sure, you might have plugins for Bitcoin payments, you might have plugins for crypto payments, you might have plugins for NFTs, but they don't really work as well as if you were to implement those kind of solutions natively to your own portal and to your own platform. And then on the other hand, we have custodial, we have Coinbase, which is too much custodial focused. You cannot do really non-custodial things with Coinbase. It doesn't really have enough payment methods. If you look at Coinbase Commerce, it's a really, really basic solution that they just created and then never did anything else for it. And there is a lack of versatility when using their systems. So that's why we decided to create Sellix, on one hand for the payment processing, but focusing on cryptocurrencies. On the other hand, for the commerce world, we wanted to focus specifically on the digital commerce. So anything that you can sell digitally, such as subscriptions, tokens, activation keys, software, video courses. So not something that you have to ship to end consumers, but something that you can trade entirely digital. And then on the Coinbase side of things, we wanted to have our own wallet and our own kind of exchange system. So basically enable merchants to do whatever they want to do with their funds. And most importantly, to do what they want to do with their funds in a non-custodial way. Because for the end consumers, being able to actually own and manage and do whatever they want with their funds and with their cryptocurrencies is one of the key aspects of actually choosing your solution or not. So what we built is mainly related to three different things. We have on one hand Sellix Pay, on the other hand Sellix Store, and on the other hand Sellix Wallet. Each one of these needs to have their own interface and their own experience, specifically designed and calculated and edited, for each different solution they're offering. So you have Sellix Pay, which is our suite for payments. You're going to have to take into account certain things that you don't have to for the wallet and that you don't have to for the store. And the same thing is for those two as well. So getting started directly with Sellix Pay, what it is basically we have bridged fiat and cryptocurrencies powered by a really easy to use payment experience. And what we do is that we accept both Web2 payments such as Stripe, PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo, but also cryptocurrency payments. So you have Bitcoin, you have Lightning, Ethereum, Litecoin, Lightning, Ethereum, USDT, USDC, Tron, and all those kind of cryptocurrencies, more than 30 in fact, and like 4 times as many as Coinbase Commerce. The most important part to take into account here is that when you want to offer a payment solution and when you want your customers to pay for the products that you have, you cannot restrict them to only one kind of payment method. So let's say that you want to accept only cryptocurrencies, you're going to limit your end consumers too much. So what you're going to have to do is that you can accept both fiat and cryptocurrencies within the same checkout solution, and then help your customers actually choose cryptocurrencies rather than fiat by showing them how much easier and how much faster and how much cheaper actually it is to pay with cryptocurrencies. So let's say that you showcase, and for this we're gonna take an example from one of our products offerings, which is an embed. So we have this product that costs $10, and what your customer is going to see is that they have any kind of payment method that they can use. You have cryptocurrencies, you have Binance Pay, you have credit cards, debit cards, Apple Pay, you have PayPal, Cash App, and Perfect Money. Now the question is why is someone going to choose cryptocurrencies over credit cards? Because you might be thinking credit cards are much easier to use, are much faster, and what about fees? Well, I don't know. Surely your end consumer doesn't know and doesn't actually care about all the underlying stuff that you as a merchant might do. So the first part here is to make the end consumer understand what are the implications of choosing a gateway. So let's say that I'm a merchant, that I'm a customer rather, and I'm buying this product from a merchant, which might be you, choosing to accept cryptocurrencies. And what happens here is that I'm going to see that PayPal is going to cost me $10 more, which is a random number, but it could actually be 8 to 7%, which is what PayPal charges for you using PayPal. Because if I'm a consumer, I'm just going to pay $10 and I have nothing to do with it. But then you as a merchant, you're going to receive $10 minus 7% of that, which is kind of actually a lot because it's 7% plus 30 cents. And so the first thing that we can do to, improve not just the interface, but the experience of using cryptocurrencies is showing how, sending a transaction with Binance Pay or sending a transaction with a USDT or with USDC or with any other kind of cryptocurrencies is basically twice as cheaper than sending a transaction with PayPal, because that actually is how it is for us as a company as well. When you receive a cryptocurrency payment, we don't have to pay anything on top of that, which is also how we're able to offer incredibly low fees when processing crypto payments compared to credit cards, compared to PayPal. And that's just because it's much easier, it's much cheaper, and that's something that the end consumer needs to understand as well. The other and second most important part here is that the feeling and the interface for choosing cryptocurrencies compared to PayPal or credit cards should be exactly the same. The user should not feel different or should not have a different experience when trying to decide whether or not he wants to pay with cryptocurrencies or with fiat payment methods, the standard payment methods, because chances are they're just going to go ahead with the payout and they're just going to choose, any kind of other cryptocurrency payment method. So when you're trying to offer multiple payment solutions, you need them to be on the same level. So here in this case, yeah, sure, we're going to show cryptocurrencies first, but they're on the same exact level as other fiat options, so that the end consumer just thinks, okay, they're going to be just as easy to use, they're going to be just as fast to use. And actually, for certain cryptocurrencies, like any kind of stable coin or any kind of like Ethereum transactions, Polygon transactions, Lightning Network transactions, or whatever, they are actually going to be much faster than credit card payments. Because, for example, here in Europe, you have a certain regulation that is called 3D Secure, which basically means that if I'm going to choose credit card payments, I'm going to have to go through like an OTP, so some kind of multi-factor authentication when paying with credit cards, because I'm going to be asked for a secondary code. And that's really bad. So actually sending cryptocurrency transactions is much easier, it's much faster, and is actually much, much, much cheaper. And so going back to the user experience interface, what's going to happen is that, let's say that I choose USDT over the Polygon network. I just go through, the normal channels, input my email, continue with the payment, and then what happens is that an invoice is created, and me as an end consumer, I can just send a transaction, same UI and experience as if I were to choose, some fiat payment methods. And that's also one important thing here. We're not trying to make fiat payments obsolete. We're trying to showcase to our consumers how much cryptocurrencies are better and how much they can make their life easier if they choose to pay with them rather than having to go through with PayPal or Stripe or Cash App or Venmo. And all these kind of principles can be taken and applied to the commerce world. So let's say that I want to sell my own subscription, my own software, my own tokens, accounts, or whatever. It's really difficult to find a platform nowadays that enables you to do so whilst also accepting cryptocurrency payments and giving you the full suite to actually sell, provide, and give to your end consumers those kind of digital goods. So that's also one of the things that we wanted to focus on, which is the Sellix store, which basically means that if you want to sell anything that is related to the digital world, you can just go to our platform, create your own website from scratch using our theme builder. And then what happens is that we handle everything else for you. We handle the hosting, we handle, getting the SEO ready, we handle indexing it, everything else that you might have to do, we do it for you. The only thing that you have to worry about is to create your products and offer them to your end consumer, which basically means you share your website link, a customer visits your website, and then here it is what's really most important. Nowadays, many payment providers on the cryptocurrency world, they like to do this kind of weird stuff where they redirect their end consumers throughout multiple websites multiple times. So if I were to choose, for example, to pay with cryptocurrencies rather than credit cards, I'm going to be redirected to Coinbase Commerce, which then redirects me to another website and then another website again if I want to check my transaction. The goal when you want to offer cryptocurrency payments for these kind of solutions is that you have to unify them. You have to bring everything in the table and you have to bring everything in the exact same way that you would do for fiat payments. So in this case, for example, it works just as it would normally. I'm going to input my email, I'm going to continue. And then once I go to the checkout page, which is going to ask me how I would like to pay, it's the same exact logic as before. It doesn't matter what I choose. The experience and the interface is going to be exactly the same for my consumers, which means that the only reason why I'm not choosing PayPal, I'm choosing a cryptocurrencies and not PayPal is not because it's harder or because it's easier. It's because I see that PayPal is going to cost so much more than I'm just going to go with cryptocurrencies. And once I've tried cryptocurrencies, as a customer, as a merchant, once I've tried that, I'm never going to go back because of how much easier it is to just, see an address, pay for it, send a transaction, done, compared to all the hassle of logging to your PayPal account and doing all this kind of stuff. So that's the first, again, one of the most important parts that we have seen from the checkout experience here before. And then finally, we have the user experience interface of merchants. So let's say that a customer has just paid me with cryptocurrencies. What the hell I'm going to do with them? And so here's why we offer a wallet, which is basically integrated into our whole ecosystem, enables merchants to receive, earn, spend, swap, exchange, whatever their cryptocurrencies. So basically giving them they need to be fully free to do whatever they want with them. Not going to spend too much time on that because, if you are interested in our solution, you can check our website. This workshop is mainly to showcase how some kind of interfaces and experiences need to be put together. But basically, we offer our business model revolves from a transaction fee from 5 to 1%, with 1% where we only do payments, 5% where we do the full-fledged e-commerce solution. And one other important part when you want to offer your own cryptocurrency solution and your own company, which in this case, it applies to us, but it will apply to you as well, is that you need to offer as many ways to implement your solution as possible. Because it's not up to the merchant and it's not up to who is using you to find a way to integrate you, but it's rather up to you to find and to give them the best and possible solution to use our solution. So in our case, we have the checkout, which is what we've shown before, the API, which basically means that you can create any kind of payments through code. You have the storefront, which is where we handle the full commerce solution and the full commerce from beginning to the end. And then we have plugins for WooCommerce, PressShop, WHMTS, Magento, and so on, and also the embed, which is basically a payment button that you can integrate in any kind of website. And we are to the end here, which is one of the best part about cryptocurrencies, which is how easy it is to scale with them. Because when you start offering payment solutions, it's much easier to just scale them up compared to credit cards, compared to PayPal accounts, compared to all these kind of payments that are in the fiat world. And that ease of scalability that applies to cryptocurrencies is going to be applied to your service as well. Because since we're using cryptocurrencies, we're able to scale and to contain the operational cost of our company and of our solution so much that we can offer 1% transaction fees or even lower than that compared to credit cards and other fiat payment methods. And to just close it off, here's the problem with the e-commerce world. You have all these kind of companies such as Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, that have really great solution for physical products, but have none. Like really, there is no well-established e-commerce solution that focuses on the digital products. And cryptocurrencies are all about going digital. So that's really weird that none of them are going to and have been focusing on these kind of things. And on the other hand, you have so many merchants that would like to and that want to integrate crypto payments, but that believe that the implementation is too difficult. Like you see in the graphs here that we've taken from certain studies in 2022, you have, from the customer's point of view, an interest of 64% to implement digital currencies, and then you have just a 47% on the hand of merchants to enabling those kind of crypto payments. So, that's really interesting to us how the world is split into these two kind of things, where you have really well-established companies that have nothing to do with the digital space, but that could do because it's such a big space. And then you have, on the other hand, sorry, my timing gets in the way, the interest into having and providing cryptocurrency payments, but really no company that does them well enough so that they could be introduced like very well. And so that's really where we want to see, everybody here that is watching this workshop, we want to see how you're going to introduce and to develop your own cryptocurrency payment solution, how we're going to, well, to be honest, revolutionize this world that does need this kind of revolutionizations, because we need to innovate if we want to be as close as possible to the fiat world, and if we want to bring as many new, potentially interested people in the cryptocurrency world as possible. And I'm going to close off this kind of workshop with just a few more examples on how you can integrate and get basically paid with cryptocurrencies through Sellix, which is the first one, the embed, which we mentioned before, which is basically just a payment button that you can integrate on your own website. So you have here a few lines of code that is basically a button that looks like this. You then click the button and then the product here appears. This is very, very useful when you have like pricing pages. So you have like a page with your pricing. You can just place a buy now button on your pricing. This pops up, and then your consumer can just go right at it with the purchase. You have, again, just like before, any kind of payment method, fiat as well. It's up to your customer to choose. And then one of the cool things that we do is that we enable you to have your own consumers connect their Discord, Telegram account, and then once they have paid, they get added automatically to your communities, so that you can sell access to private communities, trading signals, whatever of the sort. Finally, we have the Sellix API, for which we have a full documentation, which basically enables you to create payments directly from your console, from your code, and then share either payment links or integrate them in a fully white labeled way to your solution. So just to give you an exact example on how to get started, we're going to create a workshop directly here, and then let's go directly into that. We're going to use Node.js for this example, so pure npm init, and then we are going to open the directory with VS Code. So I didn't do this properly. Code dot, here it is. And now let's just create an index.js and open our terminal here. Now, what we're going to do here, just to give you an example on what you can do, is that we have our public documentation for the Node.js SDK. You're going to just copy the code here, and then here we have it. This is for, to list the products that you have on your Sellix console. We're gonna just take as an example here, and in the meantime, we also need to do npm install Sellix Node SDK. So whilst that goes, this is a really brief example. Merchant name can be skipped, but in this case, my merchant name is Daniele. We have our API key, which I copied before, and it's this one. I'm gonna, of course, change it after this video is done. But in this case, we can see how I can print basically the gateways that the first product of the list here has, which is basically anything from PayPal to Kronos, Ripple, Monero, and so on. Now, the really cool thing here is that I can also create payments. So let's go right here with the payment, with the test suite, and we can see that I can go here, and the testing payment, I can create either a white labeled payment or a non-white labeled payment. So let's test both of them and see how they differ from each other. So let's paste the code here, and then I have payment no white labeled, which I'm gonna console log here, and then I also have payment white label, which thanks to Copilot here, I'm gonna console log. Let's execute this again, and the bug is not defined. Of course, this is not in the test suite, so let's do it like this. And we have two different kind of outputs. So we have the first output, which is the known white labeled solution, which basically just gives me an URL. And if I try to go to this URL, what I see is that I'm going to be redirected to the Sellix checkout page, which basically means that Sellix will handle the checkout entirely for you. On the other hand, if I go back and take a look at the other payload, I can see that I'm given the full invoice object, which basically means that I can use these to create my own interface and my own user experience on my website, following my design and style standards. So there's really, you can integrate it anywhere that you want to, and it's really one of the main thing that we wanted to be focusing on when creating Sellix and doing all these kind of developers APIs. So yeah, that's pretty much about it for this workshop. We hope that you've learned at least something about the cryptocurrency payment system, and also about how Sellix works and what we do and how you can actually use our solution. And yeah, so thank you for your time, and hopefully you will see many other workshops just like this one that help you getting started with the cryptocurrency world. So thank you and have a nice day.
All right, thank you, Daniela, for that workshop on digital payment with Sellix. We've got two more today. So next, we're going to Bruce, the co-initiator of LXDAO, for a workshop on ERC 6551.
I'm very happy to bring ERC 6551 workshop to you today. And I'm Bruce. I'm the project manager of EIP Fund, co-initiator of LXDAO, member of PlankerDAO, and I worked as a web developer for many years. You could find me with this avatar on the social media. So before we go into ERC 6551, I'd like to introduce you some real-life use cases to introduce why we need ERC 6551 on Web3. So in real life, there might be a fridge. We also have some fruits, food, eggs, or money. So we could put those items into the fridge and become something like this. I know it's kind of silly to put money into the fridge. I just use it I just use it as an example for ERC20. So on Web3, we already know that we can use ERC721, which is NFT, to represent a fridge, and some other NFT or token EIPs for different type of use case. And but here is a question now. So how can we put those assets or tokens into this fridge? How can we like use standard or something to represent a filled fridge? So this is the question. This is a use case. With ERC6551 actually provided a solution for it. So imagine this is ERC721 NFT. We could create a smart contract account which bound to this NFT and also accept assets. It can store assets. Because this is a smart contract account, we could transfer some assets into this account. Because it's bound to the NFT, so it's called token bound NFT or TBA. So ERC6551 is ERC6551 is EIP for this type of use case, provided some features and interfaces. So in short, TBA is a smart contract bound to an NFT token. And based on the implementation, the NFT can mirror the assets within the TBA. If we put some assets into the account, the NFT should be changed based on the assets. So I can give you an example from the official website. So this is the NFT, and this is the token TBA for this NFT, and we can also see there are some NFT in their token in their TBA, and yeah. So for example, for this background NFT, it's gonna be showed on the NFT image. So yeah, it can reflect based on the assets in the TBA. But this is based on the implementation. If you want to implement this feature, you need to put some RESTful API as metadata in your NFT. Yeah. So the owner of NFT has control over the bound TBA. This makes sense because in reality, if you put some items into the fridge, if you move the fridge or sell it, the items in the fridge gonna be moved or sold as well. On Web3, it's pretty much the same. So if we put some assets into the token bound account, because it's bound to this NFT, therefore, if we transfer this NFT to another guy, the control, the access to those assets gonna be changed as well. Yeah, so this is called like token bound accounts. Let me give you some quick demo for ERC6551 so that you can get some basic idea for how for this. So this is the official website, and if you connect your wallet, you could switch to Gale testnet. If you don't have some NFT, you could go to this website to mint some for testing. And if we go to the website, you will be able to see a list of NFT, and there's some identical address to each different NFT. This is the token bound. This is token bound account for the NFT. Let's open one. So this is the NFT. It's just a normal ERC721 NFT, as we can see on OpenSea. So this is the token bound account for this NFT, and at the moment there is nothing. We could also check it out on ETHScan. but there is nothing. This is a completely empty address. Now let's transfer some assets into it. So for example, let's transfer this one to that account. Transfer. Yeah, let me copy this account. Yeah, we could also transfer some tokens to that account. Let's wait for seconds. Okay, it's done. Okay, let's refresh the page. Cool. Now we can see their NFT, their assets into this account, this token bound account. Let's go to the EtherScan to see what happened. Yeah, we can see their like ETH balance to this address, and there are some NFT transactions to this account. But at the moment, this address, we haven't deployed the account, so therefore we cannot control those assets. Yeah, so if we want to control those assets, we need to deploy account. So yeah, you need to pay some gas fee for to deploy the smart contract account. Okay, cool. So it's done. So let's refresh the page. This is the TBA for that NFT. After refresh the page, we will be able to see it's changed to a contract with the same address. Therefore, yeah, we could also check out the code. It's it's using ERC1167 to deploy for some gas fee optimization. So yeah, if we could like go to the implementation for that smart contract. We're gonna introduce this later, so I'll just skip this part. Yeah, so after that, if we go back to the website and refresh the page, we will be able to see now you can connect with the NFT because this becomes a smart contract account. Yeah, so you can now control the assets into this account. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for the quick demo. I'll introduce the details later. Before we dive deep into ERC-6501, I'd like to introduce that this EIP is created by Future Primitive. Their co-founders are very good at NFT, and they are exploring the potential of NFT a lot for the past few years. And also they created an official website for token bound accounts, which called tokenbound.org. Yeah, so this is some basic information from the creator. And let's dive deep into the ERC-6501. So first, yeah, I have modified a little bit for the official one because I think I added more details to this diagram. So imagine there is a user account A, which might be EOA account, who owns smart NFT, like for example ERC-721 contract A, and the token ID is 123. we could have like multiple token bound accounts bound to this NFT. Each TBA might, because this is a smart contract account, they can store some tokens like ERC-71 or ERC-20 tokens, etc. And because they are using like a ERC-1167 to create, so they can point to some implementation, the smart contract account implementation, and they can proxy to like different implementations, and all of these TBAs are created by the singleton ERC-6551 registry, and also because these TBA are bound to this token NFT, the owner of this token gonna have the control over those accounts. This is another wallet. They have another NFT, so they can control those TBA state, which proxy to some implementation. So this is basically the workflow or the architectural overview of ERC-6551. So let's check out some code for better understanding. So first one is ERC-6551 registry. This is the interface for that registry. It's quite simple and straightforward. So there are two methods. One is account. You can use it to get the computed address for that NFT. So basically, when you check, when you see the address under each NFT, these address are computed by this method. So it's I'll introduce some details later. You could also create accounts. You invoke this method to deploy the TBA for that NFT, like this button. And the registry is a singleton. It's only one for each blockchain. So here is implementation for the EIP for the registry. So for example, for create account, it deploy the TBA for the NFT by using create2 opcode. So with some parameters, like first is implementation, because they are using ERC-1167. So you're gonna pass the implementation when creating the contract. It's gonna save some gas. And also the chain ID, token contract address, token ID, and salt, as well. Also the init data, because you might need to use some data for initializing the ERC-6551 account. So you could pass the init data if you need to. So the code is simple. So just get the creation code first. Use the salt and code to compute the address, so that you can get account. Because as I demonstrated before, we can get the address before we deploy the actual account. So this is so we could use the create2 to calculate to get the to deploy the account with the same salt to the same address. So that's the reason why we can safely transfer our address to this assets to this address, even though we haven't deployed it, because we know when we click the deploy button, the smart contract gonna be this address. And after that, we will use create2 OP codes and the salt to create this account at the same address. And after it's done, we will say if they are in need data, we're gonna call this data for initialization. And this is the account. This is a contract for the registry. They have already deployed on the mainnet, and we could go through the code quickly. Yeah, so basically it's super easy and simple. So that's the code for creating an account. And this is the code for getting the account address. So basically, yeah, with create2, you could compute the address prior the deployment of your smart contract. Okay, cool. So this is the registry. Let's check out details for accounts. So this is the ERC-6551 account interface. So there are some key information and methods. The first one is token. So the token is constant for the bound NFT information. It's gonna return chain ID, token contract, token ID. This makes sense. It is a constant because it's bound. It's kind of like soul bound to the certain NFT. So it's definitely a constant for this. And the next one is the state. State is like nonce. It represents state changes. When you when you're doing some operation to this account, or there are some assets changed to this account, the state gonna be changed as well, so that others can understand something changed in this account. And the next one is valid signer. So basically, this method used to check if signer can control the TBA or not. And the final thing is execute. It's gonna execute operations if sent from the valid signer. So let's check out the details, the code, to get a better understanding. So this is the example ERC-6551 accounts. As we can see, the execute method is gonna check is valid signer first, then if there are some operation, and change the state, and then call the invoke the operation with the address and the value and data, etc. And below is a token to return the constant for the token NFT token, for the bounded NFT token. And let's check out its valid signer method. So it's very straightforward and simple to just check if the signer equal to the owner, which is a message sender. If it's the same as the NFT owner. So here you can get the NFT information from the token method, and try to get the owner, get the current owner of this NFT, to check if it's the same. If it's the same, which means the message sender has a control to execute some operations. So from the implementation, you might think, yeah, don't transfer your NFT to the NFT's TBA, because it's gonna change the owner to the TBA. Therefore, your NFT and the assets in that TBA are gonna be locked in the smart contract forever. So don't do that. And let's check out some details, other implementations for the ERC-6551 account. This is the default one from the official. So which means if you click the deploy account button, they're gonna use this implementation to create a TBA for you. Yeah, so as you can see, your account can implement like both ERC-6551 account interface and base ERC-4337 account. which means you can also add some guardians or better permission control. You can also customize some logic like lock or better authorization logic or something like that. So this is the account contract deployed on the mainnet. I'm gonna show you later. So basically, you can build a much complex and better smart contract than the example account for your need. Yeah, so that's how TBA account, how token bound account contract looks like. And the final thing I want to introduce is how the TBA information displayed. So you could use animation URL in NFT metadata to provide an interim solution for showing your NFT TBA assets. So what's that mean? This is an example for ERC-6551 NFT from the official. If you go to this page, you will be able to find there is an icon here. If you click it, you will be able to see the TBA address and the assets in that account, right? So this is implemented by the NFT itself. So we could check out the metadata. You will be able to see there is animation URL field which pointed to a API or HTML page. So it's iframe. It's an HTML page. So on this page, you will be able to click this button to check out the assets in the associated TBA. So this is an interim solution for showing your NFT TBA assets. That's because the better way is implemented by the NFT marketplaces like OpenSea or other. Create a section here or somewhere to show if there are some associated token bound accounts to this NFT and what's assets in it. It's gonna be like better, like more native and user friendly, because people might ignore this icon, or there are other implementations for display those assets. It's not very user friendly, but it's gonna take a lot of time because they have to wait for the ERC-6551 being adopted a lot, then they can implement this logic. So this is the interim solution for it. And also there's some like because it's gonna need to change the metadata, is unlikely to be updated by the token holder. So you have to like ask your project developer, or if there are some NFT using IPFS for their metadata, they might not be able to change the metadata easier to implement this feature, to integrate with the iframe. So therefore, the best way is for the NFT marketplaces to implement those features. So this is the how to get the information from this. Okay, so because we are like we are developers, you might care about what the development resources from the official website, from the official team. So they provided three main components. The first one is SDK, which is a front-end library for interacting with ERC-6551 accounts. So let me give you some example from the repository. So basically they provided some SDK front-end library so that you can create a client, use get account method to get the account address basically compute the address before deploy the token bound account. And after that, you can also create account. So with some parameter, then you will be able to deploy a smart contract account on the blockchain. And also you could execute some operations with the information to do something with to the assets in the TBA. So this is a library so that you can, when you're building a DApp, you could integrate with this SDK. And there are some contracts. So basically the contract is there is a account implementation which I showed you before in this repo. So basically you could fork it and update or add some customized logic if you want to build a better ERC-6551 account for your needs. And there is a iframe, like I just told you for this implementation for the assets viewer on the NFT. So they provided this web application. So basically it's you can deploy and get service like this. You can get a URL, you can put your NFT and return something. So after that, you can put this link into your NFT metadata. Then after that, you will be able to say this feature working on different NFT marketplaces, because animation URL field is commonly accepted by many NFT marketplaces. So you can think this is a kind of interim solution for showing your NFT TBA assets. So in the let's talk about some imagination of ERC-6551, because because this standard unlock a lot of imagination from my perspective. I have like dozens new ideas based on that in my mind. So here's something I can share. So first, for gaming, it bundle equipment directly with characters. So we both know that when we're playing some game, we're gonna have main character with a backpack or sort of things. We could get some equipment or some assets, items, money into that backpack. Now we could bundle them together. When we want to sell or transfer the character to another account, so all of the assets gonna be moved as well. It's very, it makes sense, right? We could also explore some new type of games, like for example, NFT characters involves based on the asset changes. Like if you get some new things, it's gonna be reflected on your NFT characters or images, right? And also we could build something for assets management. Like for example, for assets transfer, we could transfer the single NFT for transfers many assets, because we put those assets into the TBA for this NFT. This is gonna reduce some gas costs and also streamline operations, because you just need to transfer the key, then the vault will be also transferred to another one. And also the permission transfer case, that you can avoid sharing your wallet private key. It's very common, like we have to use some account for controlling some assets, or like multi-sig or vote for something. But before, for doing some operations. But if you left the company, or if you want to transfer those permission to another guy, it's normally you need to share your private key to others. But now you could set the token bound account address to as admin to something, to somewhere, to do the operation. And if you want to transfer to others, you just transfer the NFT, because the NFT controls that token bound account to send some, to do some operation, right? So, and also there are lots of NFT innovations like NFT VIP card. You could create a TBA for that NFT card and put some points or some badge or something like that into that VIP card. And also some DAO membership cards, you could put a badge, a PO app or something like that into that card. And also you could create assets bundles for sale. You could pack a token, pack the NFT, and trace NFTs or something like that together to sell it. Yeah, there are a lot of imagination. So hopefully you can find something interesting you to build during the hackathon. Okay, so in the end, who made this workshop? So first, as I mentioned before, I'm the project manager of EIP Fund. As you can see from the name, EIP Fund is a project for simplifying EIP and accelerating the adoption of EIPs. It's currently initiated by LXDAO and PlunkerDAO. So let me give you an example for how it looks like. Yeah, so it looks like this. Basically, we provided a better, more information regarding this NFT, like adopted projects, like the videos, of course, the original EIP, but with better UI UX. This is the style copied from GitHub. And also there's some further reading. Yeah, so it's, and we also have a newsletter to help you to keep updated with latest EIP. So basically, yeah, so this is public goods like this. And also, LXDAO is R&D focused DAO for supporting valuable public goods sustainably. So yeah, so EIP's Fund is one of the projects within this DAO. So feel free to check out more if you would like to know more about us. Okay, so thank you so much. Feel free to contact me through those social media. See you next time. Bye.
All right, a big thank you to Bruce for that workshop on ERC 6551. Our final session today is with Rose. It is NFTScan 101.
Hello everyone, I'm Rose, Chief Sales Officer at NFTScan. I'm really excited that I have this chance to talk to you about what NFTScan has been built for the past 2 years and what is upcoming. So I would like to start with how NFTScan started. In the early 2021, there is high trading volume in OpenSea, which motivated many developers to dive into this field and make something that is compatible with OpenSea. So our core team was also looking for new directions at that time and made diligent research into NFTs. The two founders of NFTScan are all from like tech background, so they are sensitive and clear to the underlying mechanisms. And they found one pain point in the industry, which is that when developers hoping to build something of NFT marketplace, it is hard to retrieve all the NFT data on the overall blockchain network, which makes the developer team building the NFT related applications, the development threshold is very high for them with a bad user experience. more importantly, there is no third-party blockchain infrastructure supports the NFT data services at that time. So that's how we started with building the NFT data infrastructure, and we bought the NFTScan.com domain, started building the NFTScan data infrastructure. Because we believe the on-chain data itself contains the extremely high value, but NFT lacks a clear and easy to use indexing tool, which result in NFT data being fragmented. Yeah, so that's how we started our product, and yeah, you can see that we just marked 2-year anniversary at September 4th. And we updated our website. This is our whole new website. You may check the NFTScan.com. So let's dive into our product. Our homepage showcased our main product. The first one is the NFTScan Explorer. It is an indexing tool, easy for users to look for all the literally any data related to NFT. There is marketplace data, NFT file data, ranking, trading data for users to search for any NFT collections or say wallet address they would like to follow related to NFT activities. And then we have NFTScan APIs, which is mainly targeted to provide developers with an easy to use tools to retrieve the on-chain NFT related data for them to build their own product. So for now, our major clients has Binance NFT Marketplace, CoinMarketCap, Token, and also many other great projects and Web3 developers in utilizing the API services. Then there is also NFTScan portfolio. Web3 users can manage their NFT assets and access data tracking services with our portfolios. And then we just launched the NFTScan site, which is a platform or stage for NFT collections and NFT marketplace, NFT file projects to better present their project. Then we have NFTScan as a service, which is mainly adopts with NFTScan's multi-chain development strategy. Yeah, let's dive into our first product, NFTScan Explorer. This is for each. Yeah, let's see that for the NFTScan Explorer, there is 4 main types. The first one is popular sites because the NFT trading or activities on these networks are more frequently retrieved or searched. There is Ethereum BNB chain, Polygon, and Bitcoin network. And also there is other EVM compatible networks which also have active NFT activities, Avalanche, Moonbeam, Platon, Chronos, Phantom, Gnosis. And also there is trending layer 2 networks that NFTScan already supported, Arbitrum, Optimism, zkSync, Linea Base, and other networks, Solana, Aptos, and Tau. You can see that there is new for Tau, Linea, and Base network. We just added these 3 networks for the past 2 months, and we are also expanding to more networks. Stay tuned, and you can let us know what networks you hope that NFTScan supports for next. Let's dive into the Ethereum NFTScan. For each network that NFTScan supports, there is a subdomain. And it's Ethereum Explorer of NFTScan. We can see the cumulative statistics of the network. There is over 147 million NFT assets on Ethereum network, and also over 262K NFT contracts. Also, there is over 10 million wallet addresses that already interacted with NFT activities. Yeah, we can check like literally all the NFT statistics on the NFTScan Explorer. For analytics, we can see the trading chart on Ethereum mainnet. There is different time frame for you to choose. There is 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Yeah, let's just choose 1 day. And for the domains, you can select different parts for you to rank this data. We can rank by sales amount and or rank by volume from in a descent or ascent manners. Yeah, if we rank by volume for the past 1 day, the highest volume is CryptoPunks, which 541 Ethereum as the trading volume, and then the Mutant Ape Yacht. Yeah, this is the trading volume, and also there is minting for Ethereum network, and also you can check the different select different time frames here, and also discover page tracking the amount of new NFTs within the selected time. There is different time frames. Also gas tracker for Ethereum network, which calculated the different collections gas fee for different time frames. There is also blue chip of 19 blue chip contracts. Also, top wallet, you can monitor what the whale NFT whales wallet in this chart. Yeah, that is the NFTScan for Ethereum mainnet, and also you can check different networks data by your own needs. Let's just select a newest one for Town network. For Town network, there is over 1 million NFT assets. Considering the mainnet has just launched not quite long time, it is quite incredible, and there is about 10,000 NFT collections for this network. Yeah, okay, that is the NFTScan Explorer. It is mainly targeted for NFT users or holders. Degens have a tool to retrieve and see all the on-chain NFT analytics data. And let's move on to NFTScan's API product. This is the Web3 tools that is offering NFT data for projects and the developers. You can click Get API Key and start for free. By here, you can sign up for your email address or directly log in by connecting with your crypto wallet. We support MetaMask Wallet Connect and also Coinbase Wallet. Yeah, so by sign up, by your account, you can see a dashboard which records all the history of your retrieve histories. So there is a 24 hours request amount and the success rate, and also the total bandwidth you used for the past API request. And also all the compute unit you purchased will last forever, which means you can use at your own needs. Then there is also Notify API, and also the first step for utilizing NFTScan service is to sign up for the developer platform. And the second step is that you need to paste your own API key. You can directly copy by clicking this icon and then explore the API docs you want to get data from. There is EVM API, Bitcoin API, Aptos, and the Solana API. Let's start with the EVM API. This is the API docs of NFTScan. If the current guide is not clear enough, you can directly click the guides here. There is overview, what is the NFTScan APIs, and the trend and the most use case of utilizing the API services, and also EVM chains, all the network informations of NFTScan supporting. As for the API tutorials, then there is also step-by-step guide. Yeah, let's move on to how to retrieve the data directly. But I have already clicked my API and copied my API keys. The core models of NFTScan database is three. First one is asset model, which represent a unique digital item whose ownership is managed by the blockchain. And then there is transaction model, which represent one transaction for an NFT asset on the blockchain. There is a different field. You may directly see it here. And there is also collection models, which represent an NFT contract address on the blockchain. So for these three core models, there is over 40 types of NFT APIs we support. For example, if you hope to retrieve the data of all the NFTs owned by an account, you can click this API and choose which networks you hope to use, and then paste your API keys here, and direct the query fields. For example, you can select exact contract type and choose whether to show the NFT contributes. And there is a sort field. Then I will like to choose according to mint time, and sort direction, ascend or descend. Then paste the key. I will choose, I think, Ethereum. And this is the wallet address I would like to try. I would like to retrieve the data, and then click try it. Then you will see the response. Yeah. Okay, so for this wallet address, there is no NFT holdings. I will paste another wallet address that I would like to follow. Then click try it. Yeah, I can see 13 items of NFT assets in this wallet address. All the data is represented here. So developers could utilize this data to their backend or directly integrate NFTScan APIs into their backend, so that, for example, crypto wallet can directly showcase users' NFT portfolios. And the NFT marketplace, they could directly show the NFT collections data. And except for the three models, asset, transaction, and the collection models, NFTScan also covers the statistics API, which returns this chart data. You may check there is different charts for NFTScan explorers. There is a trading chart, mint ranking chart, mint amount chart. So, for example, if you want to see the trade ranking for the Ethereum network for the past 1 day, you can directly define it here and paste the header and click try it to get the response. Above is the above are the introduction of NFTScan's API services. So by integrating both the NFTScan Explorer and also NFTScan API services, we are building a tool that is not only useful for NFT holders, NFT DJs, but also a tool for developers to build NFT-related applications with in a cost-efficient manner. For now, we are currently supporting 18 networks, and it is going to expand to more networks. And also, the data quality of NFTScan provides is quite good. You can directly get to try and retrieve the data by yourself and see the full NFT data tracking. So let's move on to our plans. What NFTScan is going to do for the next few months or next 1 year is that we are going to continue our multi-chain strategy. We'll build on more networks, and then we will continuously upgrade our API services. For now, we support the over 40 types of APIs, which already covers most development needs, but we are also providing customized API services. We hope by continuously deploy and deepen our API services, we hope to provide better services to our current partners and expand to more partners. Then last but not least, we hope that our new product, NFTScan site, will be an ultimate stage for all the NFT collections for them to showcase their NFT projects. And I think as an NFT data infrastructure, we strongly believe in the future will be mass adoption, and the bull market of NFT will definitely come again. Regarding the scalability of NFT, there is different contract types coupled with the vigorous development of more exaggerated AI technology and the various applications currently being built. All of this is indicating that the bull market will definitely come, and I strongly believe in what the NFT will play in the next generation, in the next wave of mass adoption. Yeah, that's pretty much of my presentation. I'm really excited to be here. Hope to see you guys soon.
All right, thank you so much, Rose. That was our last workshop for day 2 of the Meta Web3 Builder Competition for ETH Riyadh 2023. So thank you to everyone who tuned in. We will be live again tomorrow for day 3 of the workshops. Have a good day.